Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the sandwich in a baggie, say coloring right here. As you see right here is I went ahead and drew a picture, say, of a sandwich, and of course in a baggie, and basically talks about a story of, say, if most of us, ever had it to where that if you were to be sitting down, somewhere, and having lunch, it is, and being find a place, a resting area where you can actually sit down, maybe during if it's a walk or if it's a road trip or anything like that, and just knowing about if you were to have be carrying say a cooler or something like that, where you would have like what you call like a package sandwich. It's like for a sandwich in a baggie, and basically the whole memory part about it is knowing about with me that I can remember a few picnics, of course, that I have gone to a couple years ago. It's like quite a few of them, of course, that did have. It's like I was at one actually last year, but the picnics I can remember going to quite a few of them that I went ahead and attended to, and I can remember that that like the picnics it was that you have it to where that they like you include like what you call like a sandwich, a packaged sandwich that would include like what you call like maybe a slice of lettuce, and it would also include like a maybe some tomato or mayonnaise, and of course with mustard, anything that more likely that it's like maybe not nothing that's really vegetarian, but on the other hand too, to know if you want to have some lunch meat along with it. And right here in the background, as I would include right here, is a tree right here, and a lot of times is knowing about what the tree is like for the background. It is knowing about what the surroundings it is. And the way I think about it, it's like if you be walking around, and then if I will be walking around somewhere, and then knowing about the whole memory goes by is that you'll be walking around somewhere, if it's in a park or some certain location it is, and knowing about it's like with the pull out a a sandwich in a baggie, and then start munching on it, and a lot of times that knowing about if you want something to remember by, that more likely you'll be able to pull out the bag, say the sandwich in the bag, and start eating the sandwich it is. But a lot of times the memories come from about a couple years ago. Is that I can remember that a couple of times that a sandwich in a bag it was that knowing about the times that the experience I had about eating a sandwich was. I think it was at a few field trips, and of course maybe a few other places that may have gone to that, and then of course maybe some places if I was at school or something like that, that more likely there would be places that I would be able to take out a sandwich baggie. I think it was from a lunchbox or something like that, that that I would be eating something, and then the next eating a sandwich it is, and knowing about the type of sandwich, and more likely a lot of times my favorite my favorite a lot of times was the peanut butter and jelly. I can remember for about 5 years in a row, I think it was for 5 years, that I wanted PB&J, a lot of peanut butter, a lot of jelly, and then put it all together, and then have it to where it's served. But I don't know, a lot of people probably think about between a ham sandwich and what you say is a pickled bro sandwich it is, and just knowing about what the peanut butter and jelly sandwich it is. We're probably thinking about, it's like, yeah, that the whole part about why it tasted so good. And with me though, if I can remember right, that I think a lot of times that whenever they would serve peanut butter and jelly sandwiches inside the lunch, the sack of lunches it is up there at the school, a lot of times I can remember that I liked them, and just knowing about the taste of peanut butter it is, and then of course the way it was made it was. But other than that, is talking about it's like with the ham sandwich. But other than that, a whole part about this activity is talking about with like memories, is knowing about is that I can still remember a little bit about walking around somewhere, maybe with family and friends it is, and just knowing about the location it was. Location being around somewhere where there was a lot of trees. It's like you have right here. It's like the sun will be peeking out. At about right here it is. It's like here is the sun. And a place where there would be a lot of trees. It is. Go ahead and see here. Draw maybe a few trees back here. It is. It's like right here is the the brown, say with the brown, light brown, say trees it is. You got a few trees about right here, and then on a nice hot sunny day it is that most of us know about that if you're going to be somewhere where there's going to be quite a few trees it is. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that with a place where there's a lot of trees, and I know a few places that more likely there were a lot of trees, and people probably think about that yeah, that they wind up cutting them down eventually due to the fact because of the dryness or something like that, or it's like that there was no leaves on them or something like that, to where there are some locations to where that they have cut down a few trees it is. But on your hand too, to know about with me that I can still remember walking in some locations to where that there was where there was a rest area where there was a lot of shade, and places where that wasn't so hot, and of course a rest area where you want to sit down and pull out a sandwich baggie and want to munch on a sandwich it was. And as far as I know, I'm like knowing about yeah, that people probably think about, you don't want to eat somewhere because of the fact about maybe you just don't like it when other people look at you, or maybe the fact about too many bugs, too many fly, too many bugs, pests, to have to deal with it is. But on here to the way I think about it, I'm like that, yeah, that knowing about any type of picnics or places like that, to where that if you were to go somewhere where they had sandwich bags and of course the sack lunches and stuff like that. But anyway, knowing about the fact about that, yeah, it's like after about maybe a few minutes, maybe two after a couple of hours, is knowing about it's like to be able to sit down and then be able to eat a sandwich, have something to eat it is. And then of course right here is like a soft drink if you had want a bottled water or a soda or anything like that to go along with your sandwich it was. And it reminds me of a story that knowing about with me that be walking around, be shopping of course, and getting a soda, buying a soda from a vending machine, and the next thing you know it, I'm like, yeah, put money in there, and sometimes eat your money, and they don't give you what you want. It's like push a button and the soda don't come out it is. And a lot of times people probably thinking about that the best way is to how to handle it. And I used to always think like talking about maybe kicking the machine, but on the other hand too, that knowing about that, yeah, talk to the person, and a lot of times they probably think about, well, more likely that they'll go ahead and try to get the machine fixed, but so far as good luck getting your money back. But on the other hand too, that knowing about is that yeah, that so far as sandwich in a baggie it is knowing about, people probably think about if you bring your own lunch, bring something to munch on it is, have it in a cooler, or maybe have it somewhere where you would ready to eat it later. A lot of times people are thinking about, what does that usually mean whenever you do that? Does that mean that maybe that wherever you're going they don't have what you like, or does it mean the fact about maybe you just want to save money, or the fact that it's a nice day outside and maybe you just want to have a little lunch baggie, to put some chips or something like that in there, and maybe a few lunch baggies where you want to put some pretzels and chips and stuff like that in there. But other than that, let's talk about with the sandwich though. Top of sandwich right here is it knowing about, you got right here is a slice of bread, and of course maybe if you want to add some pickles and stuff like that on there. But anyway, that so far as the location for where this could be is knowing about is like to pick that certain place by memory. It could be the park, or it could be, used to say, is like maybe around town, or maybe at some rest area it is, maybe at a rest stop, you say near the highway it is. But a lot of people probably think about that yeah, there are a few rest stops along the highway that more likely that may not have a whole lot of trees around, so more likely that so far as the best of memories, just know about that, yeah, that the details about knowing about the colored, if there was a few benches, they probably think about if there was a few resting areas, and then of course that there was a place where you can walk around. About right up here, like you have right here is a place where you can walk. You got the bench, that goes along about right here it is, and then you got a place where you can walk along here, and then another bench right up here it is, a place where if you want to sit down, but a few resting areas that more likely you will be walking around, and then there will be like what you call is like a big grassy area, but right in here it is. And then maybe a few eating areas, and then maybe a place to where you can go shopping, whatever it is. But a lot of people probably thinking about that. Yeah, besides over there at the schools, and of course maybe the buildings it is, at the work buildings or anything like that, libraries, and more likely they're probably thinking about any other type of building that they would have places where you can actually sit down on a nice day and actually eat something. But on here, and so far as the best of memory is knowing about maybe how it's packaged, and then of course about how it go, for what goes on so far as for the walking, getting your exercise, and talking about it's like so far as good nutritional meals. But other than that, let's talk about with the calculation say of which calls for what's for the snack, or what's to eat so far as talk about for the sandwich in a baggie coloring activity.